And watch 35-year-old David Graham, the United States Open champion, as he sizes up a birdie putt from just under 30 feet away. Graham started the day -1. It's currently at 2 under par, so he's just 3 shots off the lead. We've got 2 at 5 under and 3 players at 4 under par. And then 3 more at 3 under. So this one is far from over. This would be a big 2. Not enough. Just over 2 feet left for Graham for his par now to stay at 2 under. This is anything but a birdie hole today with this pin placement, which is frightening. To mention this is the last of the valley holes, this has to be probably the world's only 2-tier golf course. We've talked a lot about 2-tier greens in the past, with 5 holes playing literally 100 feet below the other 13. Litsky trying to make it back-to-back birdies here. Now he's at 3 under. He makes this, and he's just 1 off the lead. This from 9 feet away. That short putt left now for Litsky to stay at 3 under par, and 2 behind the co-leaders, Oosterhuis and Hayes. Bruce is already qualified for the World Series of Golf, and the winner of this tournament also gets an automatic pass into the big tournament in Akron, which you'll see on CBS the latter part of this month. Graham for his 3 to stay -2. It is deathly still down here. No breeze, very warm, very humid. Not today. So Graham gives one back and is at 1 under par for the tournament. Very costly stroke, as 15 claims yet another victim. Short putt left, about the same distance for Peter Oosterhuis to stay tied for the lead. This to stay at 5 under, tied with Mark Hayes. Now let's go back to 18.
We'll get back to the 1981 Canadian Open, but right now let's go to Brent Musburger in New York.
All right, Ben, thank you so much. We're now ready to start the Talladega 500. Let's go live to Ken Squire. Ken?
The Iron Thunder of over $3 million worth of racing cars down the back straightaway of the Alabama International Motor Speedway, reverberating over this Alabama countryside with Harry Gant and Bobby Allison in the front row. The weather very cloudy. It has had some spotty showers this morning. Temperature at 73 degrees, humidity 89%, which is just about perfect. No wind condition. That will help them immensely. We could have the fastest 500-mile race in history today. Row 2 is Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte. Row 3 is Cale Yarborough, Neil Bonnet. Then in row 4, Buddy Baker and California's Joe Ruttman. Then Rick Wilson, who was in a big crash here back in May, along with Ron Bouchard. And then Richard Petty will be starting back in the 20th position today. Down on the starter stand is the man who won this race in 1977. You last saw him in a terrible crash at Charlotte, North Carolina, and he'll be in our CBS booth to help us today, Donnie Allison. Donnie Allison, how does that field look to you as they're coming down?
Well, it looks fairly good, Kenny. It doesn't look as good as if I was in the car on a pole position, but right now I just have to do with up here, and this is the first for me.
Donnie Allison about to drop the green flag on the 13th annual Talladega 500. Will there be a 13th different face in victory lane for this 13th race? $294,000 at stake, 500 miles. You're now in the car, number 33 of Harry Gant. That's the pole position car, carrying one of our CBS campers today. Field coming down to the line. Allison on the outside. Gant qualified at over 195 miles per hour. Beautiful formation, 42 strong, 500 feet from the start, 400 feet from the start. The green is out by Donnie Allison. Harry Gant breaks out in front as they take the flag. Into the first turn. Those high banks, 33 degrees, 5 stories high. You can run 3 wide. And they come to full song for the first time, escalating the speed to about 150, 160, and very shortly they'll be approaching the 200-mile-an-hour mark. A 42-car cluster going down the back straightaway. Harry Gant is in front. Number 28, Allison, is in second. Wheel to wheel, Dale Earnhardt rides with Texas driver Terry Labonte for third. And now they come to full speed. There's Harry Gant out in front. Right behind him is that number 28 car as they come down the main straightaway. Allison moving in. Here's Allison down to the inside trying to go for the lead. As they come to the stripe, they're side by side. And out in front, Allison by 1 foot at the end of lap number 1. Gant goes back in front in turn number 1. Harry Gant rolls in. Bobby Allison, Labonte up the outside into second, and now putting his nose up at 195 miles an hour. On the outside, number 21, Neil Bonnet wants to mix it up. A tremendous skirmish for the lead in the early going. Earnhardt, the number 2 car, making a run. Labonte, a big surprise down the inside. Young Terry Labonte, who won at Darlington 1 year ago, puts the nose of number 44 on the point. Back comes Gant on the outside. Out of turn number 4. That last lap of over 196 miles an hour. And as they come down to the tri-oval, all 42 in there tightly together. 18-car draft for the lead. It is Gant this lap, the second lap, with Neil Bonnet in second. And it is Dale Earnhardt going to third. Now let's go to the Canadian Open Golf Championships. Standing by is Vin Scully.
Standing room only on the leaderboard. Peter Oosterhuis and Mark Hayes are tied at 5 under. Tom Purtzer, who is a hungry golfer, he hasn't won since 1977. Purtzer has now joined North and Thompson at 4 under, just 1 back. The large crowd gathering at 18 here at Glen Abbey, and 3-time defending champion Lee Trevino. He won at St. Julie over in Quebec in '71 and twice here in Glen Abbey. And as he so often does, he left the crowd with a thrill. This was Trevino putting for birdie, and much to the delight of everybody, he made it to finish up at 5 over par, 3 over for the day. Meanwhile, on the 17th hole, this is J.C. Snead coming out of the bunker. And he dribbled it out, ran it across, and it all counts as it wedges with the flagstick in the cup for a birdie. And so J.C., as he goes to the 18th tee, is 3 over par. And with that, let's go back out to the 15th.
And all 3 members of this group in contention as they approach the tee of this 153-yard par 3. Andy North, Tom Purtzer, and Jack Nicklaus. Bunkers in front and back, and a very tricky green. Shortest hole on the golf course, and yet one of the toughest, particularly with today's pin placement. Purtzer started the day at 3 under par, currently at 4 under, and has a 7-iron. Tom, of course, is known for his distance, his power, and we'll see how he can finesse it here at the par 3. Virtually surrounded by gallery, these record-setting crowds in the 1981 Canadian Open. If there's any wind back there in the tee, there is none here in the green. The flagstick is limp. This hole set against the backdrop of that sheer wall, the cliff, which goes up some 100 feet. Keep in mind, he's just 1 shot off the lead. Too far left. And short as well. He barely gets on the front of the putting surface. Herzer is better than 50 feet away. To 16.
Co-leader Peter Oosterhuis ready to hit his second shot. He's -5, tied for the lead with Mark Hayes. Very, very difficult par 4 this. Oosterhuis. Not enough, he said, and he was right. He's in the bunker. There are 2 in front. We go back to 15.
Jack Nicklaus on the tee. He wrenched a birdie out of this hole yesterday. He's at 3 under, 2 off the lead. He's never won this championship. Seven-iron shot for Nicklaus. That's on line. If it's long enough. Yes, he's up over the ridge. He is 12 feet away from a birdie, which could propel Nicklaus to within 1 shot of the lead. Jack hasn't done much today. He's at even par for the day, but people keep coming back to him. And Andy North, like Nicklaus, also at 3 under, 2 off the lead. This young man starting to come back after undergoing some bad times in the tour. Seven-iron. That'll have to hurry. Didn't make it over the ridge, and here's what happens to you. Rolling right back down the hill, and North will wind up 30 to 35 feet away, but the crowd getting obviously excited now with Nicklaus making a run at this Canadian Open Championship. He has finished second 4 times in this tournament. It's the only major national championship that he has never won. Yet he has taken home prize money of better than $110,000. He's always been close to the lead, and this, of course, is the golf course that he designed. He was not too kind earlier this week when commenting about the condition of the course. In fact, he said, quote unquote, it stinks. Let's talk about Jack Nicklaus' swing, Ken Venturi.
Well, you can certainly see the results. He sets himself up not too wide of a stance. Always looks ahead of the ball just a little bit before he begins. Sets his hand slightly ahead of the ball. Postured very well. Back in one piece. All in a great line. Turns his left shoulder under his chin. Reaches the top. Sets his feet. Drives his legs and hips forward. Down and through the ball. Staying under. A classic finish, and you can certainly see why that ball went close.
Fine grading for Nicklaus, as you heard, as he approached the 15th green. Let's move ahead to 17.
This was just a few moments ago. The second shot of Tommy Valentine with an 8-iron on its way to the 17th hole from 150 yards straight into the cup to 16.
Oosterhuis out of the bunker. Third shot. Get going. Obviously not too pleased with that. Bruce Lietzke and David Graham with him. The co-leader. 6'5", 210. Now lives in California. One of the nicest gentlemen on the tour. Back to 15.
Tom Pertzer has got a mammoth putt here. 55, maybe 60 feet away. Bottom edge of the green. He'll have to come uphill most of the way and then to the plateau area. He'd like to just get it close enough to save par here. He's still 5 feet away. That's to stay at 3 under par and 2 shots off the lead. Andy North looking at the better part of 30 feet. He was runner-up last week at the Anheuser-Busch Classic in Kings Mill, Virginia.